Saturn, the car company, not the planet, was founded in 1985, but their first model wasn't launched until 1990. What followed can only be described as euphoric highs and catastrophic lows, finally hitting rock bottom in 2010. Let's dive in. The 5-year wait would be worth it, as Saturn's debut model would be equipped with innovative features. Taking on the affordable imports was no small task, but the S-Series was ready to take names. The S-Series exterior was mostly made of plastic instead of metal. This aided in dent and rust resistance, which, for those that lived in the Rust Belt, this would come to be a good selling point. The car also boasted a range of 40 miles per gallon, at a time where the average efficiency was just under 28 miles per gallon. A neat way GM built a following with the Saturn brand was an event hosted by Saturn called Homecoming, which was hosted at their assembly plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee in 1994. They also released a special model dubbed Homecoming. It was equipped with special options like a sunroof, CD player, and the 4-speed automatic with traction control. You know, that was fancy for its time, alright? The S-Series all used either the single overhead cam LK0/L24 or the dual overhead cam LL0 version of the completely original, designed in-house Saturn 1.9-liter engine. But results were lacking, to say the least. According to the Wall Street Journal, the project was too ambitious as, quote, everything at Saturn is new: the car, the plant, the workforce, the dealer network, and the manufacturing process. Not even Toyota, a highly successful and experienced automaker, tackles more than 2 new items on any single project. While Saturn was gaining popularity, sales never met the optimistic goals, in part because of the recession in the early 90s. It also didn't help that sales were cannibalistic, as almost half of Saturn buyers were already GM owners. Also, Saturn stirred some discontent within other GM divisions, as it took away $5 billion from other car projects. Definitely couldn't be Chevy or anything. No, definitely not. Boy, if only they were that upset about costing taxpayers $11.2 billion in 2009. But anyways, 1999 would be a benchmark year for Saturn as they rolled out its 2 millionth car, and they would introduce the new model L Series for the 2000 model year. The turn of the century would mark a change for the company, but it would also foreshadow the fate of the company. Saturn would introduce their compact SUV in 2001, marketed as the 2002 View model based on a globally used GM design, a first of many. As the new century wore on, it became apparent that GM was turning Saturn into yet another copy and paste brand. Pontiac. Anyways, in 2004, GM and the United Auto Workers dissolved their unique labor contract for the Spring Hill manufacturing plant, allowing Saturn operations to be integrated with the rest of GM. The following year, the Saturn Relay would be introduced. It was a disguised Chevy Uplander, or Buick Terraza, I think. I don't know. Or even a disguised Pontiac Montana. More rebadge models came. The Saturn Sky, which is a rebadged Opel GT. The Saturn Outlook, which is a rebadged Enclave. Alright, look, you get the point. In December of 2008, GM announced that it decided to stay focused on its core 4, that being Chevy, of course, GMC, Buick, and Cadillac. They announced the sale and consolidation or closure of Saturn. But GM chairman and former CEO Rick Wagoneer, I think that's how you say it, Jeep Wagoneer, announced during a news conference in February of 2009 that Saturn would remain in operation through the end of the planned life cycle for all Saturn products, that being the 2010 and 2011 models, but they would either be sold or closed. So enter the savior Penske Automotive Group. They just had to find a company to make the cars, but Saturn was saved! Well, that's what everyone thought. Penske was in discussions with several global automakers, including Renault Saturn Motors of Korea and the Renault-Nissan Alliance. But negotiations fell through, rumored to mainly be from objections from the Nissan board. Disappointingly, I couldn't find anything detailed about this, but I really wanted to. On October 7th of 2009, the final Saturn, a Saturn Aura, rolled off the line, and on Halloween of that year, Saturn was officially dead. And so ended one of the greatest underdog brands in history, in my opinion. From stunning innovation and automated breakthroughs to becoming yet another copy and paste brand of GM for the mid-2000s. And I guess that's pretty much all I had to say. Yeah, they kind of just, they took something great and ruined it. Kind of like Pontiac. Or Oldsmobile. Or Saab. Speaking of which, I just did a video recently on Saab. Go check that out if you'd like. And with that, stay hydrated, take care of yourself and your loved ones, and peace.